Live from Lagos, Nigeria, this is Lunchtime Politics. Welcome, I'm Jeffrey Uzama. We will bring you up to speed with the biggest happenings in politics and in the polity at midday. Let's get started with the headlines. It's official. Campaigns for the 2027 general election can now begin for political parties and their candidates. Stakeholders seek issue-based exchange rather than mudslinging and name-calling. Presidential candidates in the 2027 election sign peace accord in Abuja. President Tinubu sends representative, Atiku absent. The Electoral Act demands 150 days before the elections for everyone to get started about what they have to do. So political parties and their campaigns for 2027 begins. The National Peace Committee has assembled members of political parties as well, stakeholders and media practitioners to sign a peace accord in Abuja, where they have asked political parties and these candidates to ensure they run issue-based campaigns and shun fake news and disinformation capable of undermining national peace. Meanwhile, the Nigerian police force is cautioning politicians to conduct themselves responsibly and refrain from using young people to foment trouble.
Chairman, and the
campaign based on issues that are of significant concern to Nigerians. Avoid the spread of false and fake news, personal attack and insults. Promote respect and tolerance for differences in opinion. Ensure civility and decency in public discourse and comply with the spirit and the letter of the accord.
Our moral authority to demand decorum from political actors rests squarely on our own administrative and technological preparedness. I am pleased to report that our preparation for the 2027 general elections are progressing with absolute precision. We are scaling our operational logistics to manage a massive nationwide ad hoc workforce of 1.4 million personnel across over 176,000 polling units.
Let us remember that political power is temporary, but Nigeria is permanent. No political victory is worse the loss of a Nigerian life. No political ambition is worth the destruction of our communities. And no election is worth compromising the peace and the unity of our nation.
Nigeria has a date with destiny. And that despite the violence, despite the kidnapping, despite the setback, Nigeria's greatness will still be achieved in our lifetime. The Nigerian politicians believe, there are many of them who believe, as one of our singers has said, they believe that they will be rich till they die. But we ordinary people must wear face masks, no matter the matter. We also are entitled to a good life.
We are committed to peaceful, transparent elections that will strengthen political stability, social harmony, economic progress, and our nation's prosperity. I encourage other political parties and political actors to do the same.
Meanwhile, the presidential candidate of the Nigeria Democratic Congress, Mr. Peter Obi, has asked the Nigerian electorate not to vote for anyone who violates the peace accord. He made a call on the signing of the National Peace Accord ahead of the lifting of the ban on political parties' campaign for 2027 presidential and National Assembly elections, urging the candidates to conduct themselves respectfully.
We don't even need to sign this. We're seeking an office where we should be exemplary. You can't answer His Excellency without being an excellent person. So that process that will make you to answer His Excellency should be excellent. And the only way to do it is to conduct yourself properly. Behavior, respectful, any day, anytime, must reflect that office. I don't have any fear except to say that, please, for the sake of the children of Nigeria, can we have an election where people's votes will count.
The candidate of the AAC, Mr. Samuel Eleshore, he questioned the binding nature of the peace accord, citing the absence of President Tinubu from the signing ceremony.
To this historic...
I see that as a symbolic gesture to show to the country that we believe in free, credible, peaceful, and non-violent elections. That's why we're here. But do I believe that anything will come out of it? No, because we just came out of an off-season election in Osun State. They also signed a peace agreement, and after that they killed 50 people. And nobody's talking about it. I don't have a problem. I'm not violent. I'm not going to engage in violence. You know, and I made that clear to the APC people when we were doing banters that they came to sign on behalf of somebody who is not here. So their own agreement is not binding on anybody. And they read everything as you listen to them saying, well, you can even be held liable. Strategically, their own candidate is not here. That means if he engages in violence, he can't be held liable because he didn't sign on to any agreement not to engage in all of the atrocities that was listed by the Peace Committee. That's the problem.
Now, the campaigns for the presidential and National Assembly elections begins today as the Nigerians begin to go to the polls for the general election. However, the question on many minds is not just who will run, it's how they will run. Will the 2027 election be another season of name-calling, ethnic slurs, or personal attacks? Or will it be election where jobs, health, security, education take center stage? In this special report, our political correspondent, Diri takes a look at why issue-based campaigns are important for the 2027 general elections.
The 2023 presidential election had moments of policy. However, it was largely defined by something else. Campaign rallies that trended more for insults than for manifestos. Social media spaces flooded with attacks on candidates' age, health, tribe, religion and family, instead of debates on inflation, power and unemployment. Posters called opponents thieves. Speeches mocked accents, and for months, the national conversation was about who said what about whom, not how to fix the country. This was the case with the 2015 and 2019 elections, as personal attacks have long been the campaign shortcut for politicians. When campaigns focus on personalities, policies die. And when policies die, voters are left to choose based on sentiment, not solutions.
We need to advise our politicians to build their campaign or things that will change the society, not what will destroy it.
We keep calling on the political parties to, talk about what they want to do for their people, but that didn't happen in the Osun State governorship election. That almost did not come up at all. It was basically name trading and things like that. So we continue to call on the parties and their supporters to focus on issues ahead of 2027.
Ahead of the elections, Nigerians must understand that the problems are multifaceted. Unemployment rate is above 33%. Over 130 million Nigerians are multidimensionally poor. Insecurity still displaces several communities across the country, and power supply remains epileptic. All these are more important than ethnic and religious sentiments.
Enough of religion, ethnicity, and all other mundane issues that we bring up in our campaign. Speak to the problems you want to solve and tell us what you have done in the past that recommends you for the position you are seeking now as somebody who can fix those problems.
When a candidate wins without explaining how they'll fix healthcare, they govern without a mandate to do so. Issue-based campaigns force candidates to be specific, not just promising to create jobs, but explaining how and the funding. Not just promising to secure the country, but also highlighting their plans such as police reforms, states policing, and technology. Campaigning based on issues is equivalent to signing a contract by which the winner can be held. The media has a role to stop amplifying viral insults and start amplifying policy documents. An issue-based campaign shows respect for voters, improves governance, and unites the country.
As political campaigns commence, now is the time to set the tone for the 2027 general elections, not just the presidential election as we've seen in time past. Nigeria cannot afford another election of noise without solutions. So a powerful reminder to us all is that elections are job interviews and Nigerians are the employers. The challenge to all political parties as we approach 2027 is just sell your ideas and not hatred or name-calling. Terry Ikumi, Channels Television News.
And let's now expand the conversation from governance to politics at the sub-national level. We've been joined in the program by Mr. Bednigo Evarada. He's a special advisor on communications to the Bayelsa State Governor, Senator Doye Dixon. Mr. Evarada, good to see you and welcome to the program.
Yeah, Jeff, good afternoon and thanks for having me here.
Since the report landed on a political note, maybe let's start with the politics. How is the APC preparing ahead of 2027? You know, your own is off-cycle election. That should be later part of 2027, but you're going to be in the mix of all the happenings in 2027 presidential election. Perhaps it's the reason why your governor had defected from the PDP to the APC. Talk to us about the political atmosphere.
Yeah, I think the first thing is Bayelsa State being in a very stable and ready position to carry out all activities about politics leading to 2027 elections. The first thing, like I said, is that people are ready, having made the environment very amiable for everyone to participate irrespective of party leanings, whether you have the APC or any other party. The most important thing is the ground is ready. The state government is working assiduously with critical stakeholders to ensure that the prevailing peace in the state is maintained before, during, and after elections. The reason is because when we do that right, our choices will be influenced largely on the basis of a very functional conscience of the people who are enjoying peace and tranquility, and of course, believing there are so many, a plethora of challenges of development that we need to make our choices right, so that at the end of the day, whoever is elected into whatever position is going to walk on the path of bringing development to fall in our dear state Bayelsa.
So, you know, all politics is local. Osun and other states are clear examples. When it comes to elections, it is how because no two elections are actually the same. It's going to come to how each governor has governed his state that will be able to help the president. I'm talking to APC states now. How each governor has governed their state that will help the president to be able to secure victory or otherwise. Because at the national level, we all know what the issues are. The reforms biting really hard, although the government is saying, look, it's just for now. So that is one argument at the national level. But at the state level, what can you say that the Diri administration had done in the last 7 years that will make people say, okay, I think with this, from the governor's end, where we'll be able to support the president in 2027?
Yeah, the position of all Bayelsans is quite clear, very crystal. The reason being that as an administration under Governor Diri, what Bayelsans and Ijaw people craved for over the years was peace, bearing in mind where we are coming from. A very horrible situation where we lost many of our base heads and young folks owing to agitation and all of that, leading to insecurity in Niger Delta, and of course it affected the national economy. When this governor came, he told the people of Bayelsa State, in fact during the electionary campaigns, that when he comes in, he's going to work with all persons, irrespective of creed, color, language or politics. The most important thing is today, because of the investment that was put on ground, Bayelsa State is very safe, very peaceful. Security agencies are finding it quite easy to do their job. Community leaders, critical stakeholders, youth organizations, RYC, the Ijaw Council, the Ijaw National Congress, religious organizations, all of us putting hands together. And of course, the investments of the state in terms of ensuring that law and order takes primacy over every other situation enables the ground for the governor to work very hard to produce dividends, democracy. And number one is critical infrastructure. Having got it right in security, we must understand that Bayelsa State is largely a riverine state, more riverine than any other state you can think of. And therefore, the challenges of development are humongous. We've been able to build the critical roads and bridges that are connecting the forgotten people of their states, from southern Niger to Brass to Ikremo to Sagbama. The story is that of tearing open the swamps of the Niger Delta, particularly in Bayelsa State, with a very difficult terrain, to ensure that the people who are forgotten hitherto are also part of the national life. We cannot have a Bayelsa State, after all, that is giving so much to the national life, and in terms of a real tangible development, we only hear of things when we come to Abuja here, like we are speaking from, but when you get to Bayelsa, you don't see them. What we are having today is that those roads are being constructed, those bridges are being built. Schools are not just having new structures, they are having the best environment for learning. The teachers have been upgraded, the remunerations for teachers is top-notch, civil servants in the state are having it so rosy. We are not saying these things because it's good to be said. When you hear commendation after commendation about those who hitherto used to complain about the shortfalls of service delivery, they are now saying the health service delivery in Bayelsa State is about the best in the country as it stands today. The reason is because we've not only built health centers or health service delivery centers. What we've done is to ensure that we apply health technology in terms of drones to dispense services, health consumables to all fronts of Bayelsa State, whether you're from Ezetu, whether you're from southern Niger, from Brass or wherever. Every situation can be handled within splits of minutes, because if you need blood and the transfusion is a challenge, of course, drones are going to take blood to wherever you need them. And so whatever challenge I will have in terms of health, where we don't have the people to get to the nick of the place, of course, we can use aerial operation to do that. And when we talk about education, look at the investment we are making in education, from primary, which is the foundation, secondary, and of course the tertiary levels. We are not just building new universities like the Bayelsa State Medical University, which of course ranking about one of the youngest and fastest growing university in this country, with boosting research work in medical tourism. The reason is because we know our people cannot be faced with all these environmental hazards every day about oil pollution and all whatnot. We may be getting sick every day, but then how is government responding? And that's why we're strengthening health service delivery networks in the state. If you also talk about youth empowerment and capacity building for our young folks, we are talking about signing, peace accord. Big politicians don't engage in crime and criminality. What they do during elections is perhaps to dole out instructions to very vulnerable young folks. But I believe Nigerian youths are getting smarter, particularly in Bayelsa State. Youths have been properly engaged as part of the policy thrust of this government to ensure that we build capacity in them, train them, give them not just the best of education, but they can rely on a system that provides food on the table, so that somebody doesn't just tell them what to do.
Yeah, my apologies. Well, I'm happy that you mentioned a few things. Kudos must be given where it is due. For instance, the IYC, the governor played a key role. For the first time in a while, we have one IYC. In terms of peace and security, we're seeing those improvements. But there are other parts that are on the downside risk, which I would like you to speak to. I just did a quick search on FDI attracted since 2019. For the most of the years, it's 000. No FDI has been attracted. So I'm wondering what investment you're talking about. Maybe there are other local investments that would have been attracted, because if the environment is as rosy as you think, as you say it is. The MBS data says since 2019, I think 2024, we can't find any particular FDI in terms of dollar terms. So I would like you to speak to that. And again, I always like to ask this question. The reason I ask every subnational this question is because there has to be a way to ingeniously find self-reliance. Let's call it ordinal numeration. You're a smart man, so you understand what I mean. Ordinal numeration in sequence. So if we do 100, 200, 300,000, 100 billion, 200 billion, 300 billion to 1 trillion naira, you can see that the IGR has grown significantly year on year for Bayelsa State. Sorry, not IGR, FAC has grown like that. But if we look at the IGR, it's almost on a flat line, although it has grown more than some 200%, but it stays below 100 in terms of the IGR that has been attracted for 7 years. So the Governor Diri administration has not shown capacity by that data of pushing the state to a point of self-reliance based on data. So 2 questions. What is it doing about pushing self-reliance? Well, its time is almost out of question. And then the other question I did ask.
Yeah, a quick one. I must say that for you to have foreign direct investment in any environment, first you have to get it right in security. And that is what Bayelsa is largely celebrated to have done that right. Another thing, for you to have foreign direct investment is for you to also have structures on ground, infrastructure. We are constructing the roads, taking the roads to the sea, and all the areas where you can expand in terms of agriculture and underwater, wealth like blue economy. What we are doing as a state is to also ensure energy sustainability, because if you say you want foreign direct investment, where do they get the energy source? Is it from NEPA? No. Bayelsa State had just inaugurated turbine. I think about the first in the country now where Mr. President went and commissioned. What we are doing is to ensure that if you want to make any business in Bayelsa State, the environment is allowed and enabling enough because we have power sustainability. When we have that right, then we can say if you want to run any form of industry in Bayelsa State, you don't need to think about buying gasoline or how you're going to power a private generation plant. The reason because we can get these things right in terms of foreign direct investment, but first, the foundations must be made. When this governor came, he told the people of the state, investors will only come to Bayelsa State when we have security. We've got it right in security. He said when they come here, they will ask the first thing, where are the roads? The roads we are constructing. They also talked about policy, transparency, and predictability. In Bayelsa State, under Governor Diri, the administration can be predicted. We say things we maintain. And doing business in Bayelsa State is fluid because the system is transparent and we are there.
I do not want to cut your flow of thought. I'm not dismissing the things you're saying. You're sounding like this government was just coming. Their tenure is almost over. He's had 7 years and he's not able to push. No, just because, let's talk about that part. For instance, when Daniel Alabra, who is the CPS, I don't know whether it's still the CPS, made a claim. In fact, he corrected himself. He initially had said that Bayelsa had 24-hour power supply. And the guys were kind enough to say, are you really saying what you're saying? He said, okay, he mentioned Elebelebe, he mentioned Opolo, he mentioned Yanagua. And I did my finding, I sent messages, and they say from the turbine, they are maybe just getting 30% in this area. So give us the facts as it is.
Yeah, I think the turbine situation in Bayelsa State improves by every passing day. What happens is that after the commissioning by Mr. President, the expertise there decided to switch on the lights immediately, and they realized that they were returning systems. And they explained to the people of the state, which of course the administration has communicated to all sundry, that this plug and play turbines, anywhere there's a problem, it reverses the current back. And so the state government informed the public, and the public is working with the regulatory agency to ensure that they go line after line after line. Remember, the lines in Bayelsa State were installed during Chief Melfodokilu's administration in Rivers right from 1980-81. So the lines are quite ailing, and they cannot send current to the relevant areas. On the strength of that, what we are doing now, the turbine is set, the line is going phase by phase. The Bayelsa State government, in collaboration with the regulatory agency, has been able to break down the state into districts. And so they go to District 1, they complete that one, go to District 2. And that is why some areas in Bayelsa State, they will tell you, oh, we've not had power failure for 1 week. Some are saying 2 weeks. It's ordinarily supposed to be everybody saying we've not had power failure or we've not had the challenge for 2 weeks. But the thing is, these lines must be corrected. Where the line is so faulty, they have to change it. So there has been a massive reorganization of the entire wiring structure in the state. And that is why I won't come on television and say, oh, we have got 24 hours power supply. No, the intention is to have 24 hours supply. We have the energy, it's ready on ground, the gas is ready, the turbines are running. Everything about that has been completed and perfected, but the distribution, the networking that is giving some challenge, but of course we have the requisite expertise. All we have been able to tell the people of the state, a little patience, and of course Bayelsans are no longer complaining. The reason is anywhere the state government say this one has been done, the light is very stable. Where I'm coming from in my own area, light was there for about 6 days before I left yesterday, and so that is the way it's going phase by phase. But the intention is not just to have light. Why do we have light? Like to ask the question the other time, for us to have foreign direct investment in any state, including Bayelsa State in particular, we are saying first energy sustainability. For you to do business and thrive in that business, you have to have that reliability. We've got it, like I said.
Yeah,
if you get it right in security, get it infrastructure, build the roads and all of that, and of course go for
because I like the way you flow, but I hate cutting your thoughts. Because of time, I would have to be cutting in. Your unemployment numbers is above national average. And national average, although MBS has not done a good job in giving us those numbers as frequently as it is, it's about maybe 5 point something, which old methodology would have put it at 33% or so. Yours is about 6.1. I don't know what the government is doing in terms of employment. Maybe because these investments have not come in, so we're not seeing the knock-on effect. So I would like you to speak to that. And then, it's been a long time I visited Bayelsa. I used to go to Bayelsa. I know there's one way in, one way out. Is that still the situation now?
No. Let me start from the last question. Bayelsa State has been seriously opened up. And as someone from government, I will encourage you to come, and the state government can pay you a bill so that you can make a fantastic reportage about the situation in Bayelsa State.
You can't influence
Time will not allow us to enumerate all what we've been able to do. No, so that you can see it on invitation by the state government, but that's on a lighter note. On a much more serious note, when we talk about unemployment, there's no doubt there is unemployment in Bayelsa State like every other front of this country. But then no state government should tolerate that. The Bayelsa State government doesn't tolerate unemployment, but it's there on ground. The question is, what are we doing about it? And so, like when he said, oh, where are the foreign direct investment? This unemployment situation will remain there for a moment until we get the fundamentals right. So we get it right in security, get it right in infrastructure, get it right in power sustainability, and of course build capacity in our young folks. Remember, Bayelsa State today, if you maybe you can check the data, check me. Bayelsa State is one of the states that has given empowerment, much more capacity building in young folks. Because we know where we're coming from, we are Niger Delta people, we know the challenges of our people, and therefore, for us to deal with the challenge of unemployment first, let us build capacity. That's why we're saying we are not leaning solely on paper or certificate, degrees, etc. We are also building skills into the minds of our young folks. And so if they have the energy sustainability, of course, they can sit and become employers of labor themselves, create wealth for themselves. And of course, the society is going to open. And let me say it for the right reasons, so that it will not look as if Bayelsans like to weep. When you go to Lagos today, all the oil multinational company IOCs that are operating in Bayelsa State, none of them has an office in Bayelsa. All their offices in Lagos. And so when you talk of IGR, they pay all of that to Lagos. And when you talk about employment, you can't see Bayelsans working in those companies. Now, that is a gross inequality. But we are saying, look, all of that can be handled first. Most of these oil companies used to, let me say this please, they used to say that, oh, because there is no power, there are no roads. The roads have been built, the power has been brought, there is peace and security, and then we'll continue to do all of that. But we want a situation where the world can say, it's not just about data. Are we getting it right in terms of putting the fundamentals on ground? The answer is yes. Is the hope there? Like, we're feeling it.
Yes, we're totally out of time. We're going to probe this even further because this is 7 years into the administration. And of course, the issue of VAT and fiscalization has also tried to correct a bit of that imbalance. It's an imbalance that is a valid argument about fiscal federalism. It's a very valid argument. But if that is the reality we've all found ourselves, say in the Niger Delta, we need to look for ingenious ways to generate money. But the VAT, the tax laws has tried to make the point of consumption through fiscalization is where the monies will be plowed back into in terms of the how do you call it now? How the monies are distributed from equality to population to derivation. But I must thank you, Mr. Varada Abednego, quite articulate, technical advisor on communication to the Bayelsa State Governor. We'll engage again. Thank you.
Yeah. Please remember to come to Bayelsa State so that I can see things for yourself and make that reportage for the world to see.
Tell the governor I'm ready anytime he wants me. Let's do a one-on-one. Now we're going to have a good time to look at the records and challenge it. And that's it on the program. Thank you so much for coming on. And that's it. I'm Jeffrey Uzongo. You've been served on Lunchtime Politics. Bye-bye.